Names released in police car accident.
New bill from Michigan Senate. Hi, I'm Samantha Ruff.
And I'm Melissa Lambert, and this is your Public Eye News. The name of the woman who collided with a Michigan State Police patrol car in Chocolate Township while allegedly drunk has been released. Carol Sari, a 38-year-old woman from Ishpeming, was arraigned in Marquette County District Court on Thursday. Late last Friday night, Sari crashed into a cruiser from the Negaunee Post, which was stopped alongside the road during a traffic stop on M28 near Cabogum Road. Sari pleaded not guilty to charges including operating a vehicle while under the influence and not taking precautions when passing a police car. A pretrial conference has been set for March 26th. In other police news, the first woman to ever receive Marquette County Sheriff's Department's top honor was recognized last night. Deputy Betsy Rochin received the award for the Police Officer of the Year for 2014. She has worked with the Sheriff's Department since 1983 and said that her career has allowed her to live out a childhood dream. Rochin grew up in Ishpeming and said that her love of the community, the people, and the family has encouraged her to work hard and to love others. She is also a graduate of Northern Michigan University.
On Interstate 94 bordering Detroit and Dearborn, a stretch of it could be closed into the weekend after a tanker truck fire. The tanker truck was on fire for nearly 2 hours, and it also involved 2 other vehicles. Information shows that the truck was hauling thousands of gallons of petroleum, which also leaked into sewers, causing more fires. MDOT says part of the roads needs replacement, which could run into Sunday. No serious injuries were reported. A Michigan legislature is wanting to eliminate daylight savings time. Democratic Representative Jeff Irwin proposed the idea to the legislation yesterday in attempts for the state to follow the standard time zone. Irwin included information about accidents and heart attacks that occurred after the spring shift. He added that daylight saving time is supposed to save energy, but evidence has shown an increase in electricity usage. The Senate in Alaska had a vote of 16-14 to eliminate daylight savings time. The bill will now go to the House.
Forestry crews in Wisconsin have begun working to rid the city of La Crosse of 4,500 ash trees. Officials from the Department of Parks and Recreation say it's one of the biggest undertakings ever, and about 2,500 ash trees have been removed so far at a pace of about 50 trees per week. Supervisor Jay Odegaard said the crews have gotten rid of the trees on the outskirts of La Crosse and are looking to move into the neighborhoods. The city wants to remove the trees as soon as possible, even if they are not infected by the destructive emerald ash borer. And if you are one of the taxpayers in Wisconsin whose state return is targeted for possible identity theft, it could take a little bit longer than expected to receive your refund. According to Wisconsin revenue officials, residents could be waiting up to 12 weeks for their refund. Taxpayers whose returns are analyzed and then flagged for possible identity fraud are directed to take an online quiz and are told that it could take 8 to 12 weeks to issue refunds after completing the quiz. The Department of Revenue said they are expanding its fraud detection efforts. 1/3 of Wisconsin's income tax returns have been processed so far. And stay tuned because after the break we'll have your national and international news.
Coming up this week on High School Bowl, we wrap up our round of the Cerebral 16. In our first match, the defending champion Houghton Gremlins take on the Big Bay-Denok Black Bears. Hi, I'm Jim Koski, and then in our second game, Ironwood makes the long trip to Marquette to go up against the high school whose city is the only one in the UP named after a former British Prime Minister, and that's Gladstone. And that's coming up this week on High School Bowl.
And welcome back. 2 police officers in Ferguson, Missouri were shot in what is being called an ambush following a hunt for a person or persons who fired at the line of officers. The shooting happened after midnight towards the end of a protest against the police department regarding the killing of Michael Brown last August. One officer was shot in the face and the other officer was shot in the shoulder where the bullet came out from the middle of his back. No suspects have been named, but several people have given information. Witnesses say the shots came from behind the station after muzzle shots were seen 125 yards away. A chief from the department said, quote, "We don't advocate violence towards the police, just as we don't advocate violence from the police towards unarmed people," end quote. The war of words over President Obama's foreign policy reached a fever on Monday after dozens of Republican senators warned the leaders of Iran against the president's proposal to limit the Iranian nuclear program. Susan McGinnis has the latest on the letter and the fallout from Washington, D.C.
Vice President Joe Biden expressed outrage over a letter issued by 47 Republican senators opposed to an emerging nuclear deal with Iran. The open letter, sent directly to Iran's leaders, warns anything not approved by Congress is a mere executive agreement and could be revoked by the next president with the stroke of a pen. Biden characterized it as an attempt to, quote, undercut a sitting president. Freshman Senator Tom Cotton, who wrote the letter, defended the move.
Congress must approve a deal for a deal to be lasting, and Congress will only approve a deal if it stops Iran from getting a nuclear weapon.
The U.S. and 5 nations have been working to finalize an agreement by April that would eliminate Iran's ability to build a nuclear weapon for at least a decade in exchange for an easing of economic sanctions. Many Republicans have called those terms unacceptable.
President Obama insists he doesn't need congressional approval and that his administration remains focused on reaching a deal.
Once we do, then if we do, then we'll be able to make the case to the American people, and I'm confident we'll be able to implement it.
Iran's foreign minister called the letter a propaganda ploy. Later this week, Secretary of State John Kerry will travel to Switzerland for the next round of negotiations with Iran. Susan McGinnis, CBS News, Washington.
The 7 Marines and 4 Army aircrew members involved in a crash of a Black Hawk helicopter near the Florida Panhandle are believed to have not survived. The helicopter was first reported missing Tuesday evening, and debris was found around Okaloosa Island near the Eglin Air Force Base. The military has already found remains of some service members and is now focused on recovering the bodies and the helicopter. He also said the crash was high impact and there's a lot of debris. Names of the service members involved have not been released. And the Ohio River is above flood stage for the first time in 4 years, and it's not done rising yet. It's expected to crest tomorrow morning. This is the situation that is happening in Louisville, where some roads are submerged, and the situation isn't much different in portions of southern Indiana.
Crops in Jackson County are now underwater as part of the Muscatatuck River flows onto land.
The fields and stuff's so flooded around here, you can't do nothing. I mean, all the farmers around here, they've got weed out and it's washed most of it out.
Just outside of Ed Bauer's doors, State Road 256 is blocked, portions of it submerged in water. But despite warnings, drivers still hit the flooded road. And with rain in the forecast for Tuesday, this water's not expected to go anywhere.
The school bus driver down here, he's got to take all the back roads in to get the kids, so it's going to be nasty.
Over at the Bell of Louisville, employees are dealing by using this ramp to get to work. A ramp they began building Thursday in preparation of the high water.
Over the weekend, the river kept on coming up and we had to build it up even more.
At the Horseshoe Casino boat, no ramps are needed to hop aboard. The casino and restaurants are still open for business, but the same can't be said for its hotel.
The river's risen to a level where we closed our hotel yesterday as a precaution for all of our team members and of our guests staying in our hotel. We make the decision to close it down.
The Ohio is creeping up roads and light posts surrounding the New Albany Riverwalk Amphitheater. The Ohio has also crept onto Cox Park in Louisville, where water threatens the roadway.
The Department of Homeland Security is investigating yet another incident of misconduct by senior Secret Service agents. 2 agents, including a top member of President Barack Obama's protective detail, crashed a car into a White House barricade following a late-night party. Officers allowed the agents to go back home after they wanted to arrest the agents and conduct sobriety tests. The agents have been reassigned to non-supervisory and non-operational assignments. The director of the film discussing the battle of Alzheimer's, Richard Glatzer, has passed away. Glatzer died on Tuesday at 63 years of age after battling ALS for 4 years. Glatzer also co-directed the film Still Alice with husband Wash Westmoreland while battling health obstacles. Julianne Moore, the lead actress for the film, said, quote, "When Richard was diagnosed with ALS, Wash asked him what he wanted to do. Did he want to travel? Did he want to see the world? He said he wanted to make movies, and that's what he did," end quote. And after the break, we'll have your weather and sports. Stay tuned.
She wore blue velvet.
PBS takes you back to the early 1960s.
Roses are red, my love. Violets are blue.
It's My Yearbook, 1960 to 1963 on PBS.
Friday evening at 9 on Public TV 13.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Republic on News. I'm Dan Campanen, and currently outside it is 39 degrees, mostly cloudy. Winds out of the south at 15 miles per hour, and there's a barometric pressure of 30.4 inches and dropping. Tonight we should see cloudy skies with a low of 36 and winds out of the south at 13 miles per hour. And tomorrow it'll be a cloudy day with a high of 50 and winds out of the south-southwest at 7 miles per hour. Now let's take a look around the UP. We got a cold day in Sault Ste. Marie with 29 degrees and extremely cloudy skies. Down in Manistee it's 35 and mostly cloudy. In Escanaba it's 36 and in Menominee it is 39. Over in Iron Mountain it's 44. We have a warm day in Ironwood with 48, and it's 37 in Houghton. And back in Marquette, it's 39 and mostly cloudy. Let's take a look at your week ahead. On Saturday, we should see a high of 38 degrees with a low of 26 and some snow showers. On Sunday, we'll have a high of 48 and a low of 37 with mostly sunny skies. And on Monday, expect a high of 44 with a low of 24 and some rain showers. Well, Eric, our weather in Marquette's finally starting to pick up, but I hear the Pistons are starting to kind of fall down.
That's true. 8 games lost and right in a row, and playoffs not looking good.
Not looking good at all.
Nope. The Detroit Pistons are falling fast both in the playoff race and the NBA power rankings. In the last set of power rankings, the Pistons had moved up 2 spots and were a game and a half behind Brooklyn in the bid for the 8th playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. Things have changed drastically since then. With an 8-game losing streak after Wednesday's loss to the powerful Golden State Warriors, the Pistons have plummeted to the 12th seed in the East. They currently trail Charlotte by 6.5 games. Detroit has only shot 26% from three-point range in recent games, and the playoffs look like a far cry at this point, and the Pistons must be looking to rebuild. In NFL free agency news, All-Pro running back DeMarco Murray will visit with the Philadelphia Eagles today after the Eagles have already agreed to terms with veteran back Ryan Matthews. It's a no-lose situation for the Eagles, though, meaning that if they don't get Murray, they're helping drive up this price for the rival Dallas Cowboys. Murray helped the Cowboys win the NFC East title last season while rushing for a franchise record of nearly 2,000 yards. Murray broke many Cowboy records, including Emmitt Smith's single-season record. The Eagles desperately need an elusive back after trading the 2-time All-Pro LaShawn McCoy to Buffalo last week. There will be more news as negotiations develop. The scene is set for millions of sports fans that thought this would never happen. Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao, the 2 best fighters in boxing. The 2 will stand face-to-face alone on a stage to finally announce what is regarded as being the biggest fight ever. The long-awaited moment played out Wednesday in front of 700 credentialed media members at a boxing news conference, solidifying the fight's happening. The fight is set for May 2nd, and both fighters hope for a world-class matchup and pure entertainment for fans all over the world. HBO Sports president Ken Hirschman describes the fight as being the Super Bowl of boxing that will transcend sports. So Sam, these guys are going to be punching each other, and I hear something else is punching people in the face.
Yep, it is. Even fans have to keep an eye on the ball. A woman at a Charlotte Hornets game learned that the hard way after she got hit in the face with the ball and suffered a bloody nose. Instead of watching the game, she was paying more attention to the cell phone of the person sitting next to her. Later on, she seemed more embarrassed than injured and was caught laughing. Could you imagine being at a game and being hit in the face, let alone if it's on the big screen?
Oh, and I finally saw the video, and I feel so bad. She's like a little old lady kind of, and
no,
just
she
bam, and glasses came off, bloody nose.
In front of everybody too. And you're covered in blood the rest of the game.
Oh, no.
Well, thank you for tuning in to Public Eye News today. You have a great day, and we will see you tomorrow.
The preceding program was produced in studios located in the Edgar L. Hardin Learning Resources Center by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television.